I'm Mel Stewart, and this is the SwimSwam podcast. Joining me today is a very special guest. This guest has a huge announcement. She's blowing up the internet. She's an Olympic champion, and she's a new Speedo athlete. Today, we've got Abbey Weitzeil. Abbey!
Hello, how are you?
I want to bring you inside my world for a moment. So on the run up to this announcement, there has been an enormous amount of work, lots of people spending lots of time and energy, lots of people excited about this. But right up until I jumped on, we were making this announcement across all the possible channels.
I know my phone was blowing up. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of me on the feed. I don't like this.
It's a special moment. It's a special moment. It seems like there's two things in an athlete's career, and you kind of take it for granted. That's not true. We'll say there's three things. You can say, Mel, you're wrong, or you can agree with me if you want to. I think, you want to swim in college. You want to be on a collegiate team. People, if you have the talent, if you can go the distance, you want to be an Olympian, you want to represent Team USA. And you want to be a Speedo athlete.
I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, those are my goals specifically as a swimmer. And I know there's a lot of different levels for everyone. I think everyone, if you enjoy swimming and you want to succeed in swimming and go as far as you can, I think those are pretty close points to go off of for each swimmer. Collegiate swimming, be a part of a really fun, great team. Go as far as you can in swimming, whether that be representing Team USA somewhere or making an Olympic team. And then if you are still loving it and want to keep going, I think going pro is the next step. And for me, it was always Team Speedo. I always wore Speedo, and I'm so excited. I was like itching to announce it for so long, and it was a work in progress, and taking the pictures was so much fun, and getting to meet the team. And so now getting to announce it was so exciting today.
So if you're out there and you're listening, this is help us understand this world, because you're starting to experience it, and part of the fun is that you sign with Speedo, you've earned it, and then you start to do the photo shoots. You start to live the life of a pro. Now I know we're in the middle of COVID and it's challenging, but I think you've done your first photo shoot. What was that like?
Yeah, I did. So it wasn't a team, it wasn't a big photo shoot where all the Team Speedo members were there. It was for an announcement from the ones they posted and everything, and some of the suit ones to come, I'm sure. It was so much fun. I got to meet everyone from the Speedo team or most people, and we just kind of hung out. It was sunny. It was a beautiful day. We did it at the AC Swim Club, Nathan's pool, and it was so much fun. Just hung out, took some pictures, and I was just so excited to, again, like I said, announce it. And it was a blast.
Now it's testing time. I'm going to put you on the spot. You might get this wrong. You might get it wrong. Do you remember what you were wearing? Do you know the gear you were putting on?
What do you mean? At the shoot?
At the shoot, yeah.
The Vibe collection?
Yes. Well, let me just say this. Sometimes I ask the guys, and the guys are like, I don't know. I'll ask the guys and be like, I don't know.
Well, they do have a lot of suits, and especially the ones that come out. I mean, I don't know, each suit in the Vibe collection has a name, the X-Back, or I don't even know. See, I don't know the individual names of it. I'm like, this one. If I want a specific one, I'll send Jody a picture of the back or something and be like, I like this one. I don't remember what they're called, but the whole collection I remember, probably because it was just said so often.
Throwing the guys under the bus. I'm doing it in a hard way. It's not that bad. They're pretty good. I just find that the women's team seems like they're better professionals. They're more on point. It's that's just been my experience. And you just done your first shoot, but you're going to learn this. I'm yet to come with the whole Team Speedo shoot. I'm excited.
I hear they're hard, they're tiring, but they're really fun. So I'm excited to get to do one of those hopefully soon as they get the teams together.
Okay, I was a Speedo athlete in the 90s, and all I can say is craft services. You got, I don't know what they're doing it now. It might be a better deal now, but we had some great food. And, if you ply your swimmers with great food, they're going to be happy.
There was a lot of snacks there for me when I did mine. It was great. A lot of coffee, a lot of snacks. It was a good day.
It's, the interesting thing is that a lot of athletes wear, they wear different brands. They try different brands throughout their career because our careers are very long. I'm going back into our database at SwimSwam, and we have, our database is massive. We have over 1 million images. And everything that I see you in, you've been wearing Speedo for a very long time. Are you a Speedo kid? Were you a Speedo kid when you started?
I was. The first time I ever tried a different suit other than Speedo that I can remember was maybe ISL. So I obviously wore Speedo when I was young, and then my club team was sponsored by Speedo and the college team was sponsored by Speedo. And I also just never wanted to try another suit, really. I just have always enjoyed their suits and loved racing in them. So yeah, I'm a Speedo girl all the way back. So it just fit. A lot of people were like, I couldn't imagine you going with any other brand. I was like, me neither, honestly, because it's all I'm comfortable racing in it, and I can honestly say that I love the suit.
When I talk to our staff, our editorial staff, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to talk to Abbey. What should I talk to her about? What are the topics? So they talk about you, and your ears sometimes your ears will burn. That's what's happening. But everyone sees you as this talent that is, we don't know just how fast you can swim. It seems like you're ready to surprise people at any moment. And it's been happening for a long time. You've been at this a long time. I didn't know that you made the Olympic trials at 14. Did you go to Omaha at 14, 2012?
I did. I think I made it at 14. I might have gone when I was 15 because I was 19 at 16 trials because my birthday is in December. So I think, I was at Junior Nationals at Palo Alto. I made my first Olympic trials cut. It was 100 freestyle. I made it by like 0.02 seconds. I remember that race specifically. It was so cool. And then, I went to Omaha. My family went, my sisters went, and that was obviously a meet where I was nowhere near making the team. So I was kind of just there experiencing it. Didn't go best times, just kind of was there, swam, but was super happy I got to experience it because then when I went in 16, obviously was a lot more prepared, had a shot at making the team, all of that. But I had been there before and I knew what it was going to look like. So that wasn't like a whole factor that I had to take into account, was like a whole new meet. But either way, everyone I feel like would say this, it's like one of the best meets ever. It's one of my favorite meets. It's so fun.
You were still a kid. You were a kid when you went. That's young. And as your first one is Abbey, I cannot imagine participating in trials in Omaha. When we were at trials years and years ago, the meet was way small. It was always at the Indy pool, and it was the prelims was kind of sleepy. Sometimes there were like 4 heats. Omaha, not like that at all. How did you tell me? Do you have any stories from your first trials? Like any stories around nervousness or just walking around bug-eyed?
Honestly, I don't remember it that much, but I do remember, I don't have like a specific person that I remember watching or anything. I just remember at one point, sitting in the stands when I wasn't swimming, watching the finals because I didn't make the finals. And I remember watching and being like, those people are so fast. Like, that would be so cool to be that fast, but I'm not. You know what I mean? I was just it wasn't like a one day I'm going to get there. That I remember thinking, maybe, I don't know. I was just in awe, oh, that's really cool to be that fast. I wonder what it's like to be in a final. I wonder what it's like to swim that fast. So, I just remember thinking that. I don't really have any other specific memories. I mean, it was a while ago, but I do remember that. And 4 years later, who knew? I don't know. A lot can change in a year even. So
I can change. You're very smart. You just answered my follow-up question, which was like, were you sitting in the stands going, I want to be there. I want to beat these guys. But no, it sounds like you're very positive disposition. You had a pretty good head on your shoulders at the time. 2016, way different experience. Your performance at trials in 16 was, you won 1,500 free. It's you swam well at the Olympic Games. You came away with 2 medals. You had the fastest split on the 4x1. Is that correct? The 4x1 free.
Mm-hmm.
What was I was wondering what happened between trials and the Olympics, but it looks like performance wise, you were there. It was, I'm trying to think of like your taper for trials, hitting your tape. That's a good question. How did you hit your taper for trials, and how did you hit your taper for the Olympic Games?
So I often think about this, and I was dwelling on it for a really long time because I was so frustrated with my performances at the Olympic Games, which sounds really funny because I came away with 2 medals and any person would be like, what are you talking about? But I feel like as an athlete, a lot of people, I'm never really satisfied with their performance, and I know that, I went the same time in the 100 I did at trials in the final, or maybe even slower. And 50, I went slower. So I definitely was really frustrated with that because I was going in thinking I could drop time, like knowing I was capable of it. Had a really good training camp. I remember diving a really fast 50 at training camp, and I was super excited. I don't know what happened. Honestly, I think a lack of experience was one. I'm someone who thrives off of confidence and the ability to learn from past and kind of grab onto that and build each time. And I think that I remember not being nervous at the Olympics, which is so weird, but I thrive off of pressure and nervousness. And I walked out and I was like, I'm about to swim in an Olympic final, or semi or whatever. And I was like, this is so odd. I didn't feel ready or nervous or anything. It was, I don't know, maybe it was because of trials is so hype and there wasn't as big of a crowd in Rio. I'm not really sure what it was. So I don't have an answer for you, but I do know that I did learn from it a lot, and I've had a lot of meets internationally since then, and I'm working on still building it. And I'm super excited to compete at trials this summer. So we'll see. But I don't really know. I don't have a specific answer for how I hit my taper because I don't know. I just
here's the thing. I disagree with you categorically about your Olympic performance. Here's the thing. Most people, I'm sorry. I heard your answer. I listened to it. Don't agree. It was, most people represent Team USA for the first time at the Olympic Games. And let's be honest, they suffer. It's hard. Some people pop, some people do really well. Some people have their best performances. But if you go back and you look at the data and you look at the information, a lot of people crumble. You didn't do that. Your times were, your 100 free was essentially the same, 50 free a little bit off, but you still stepped up on a relay. Having the fastest split on a relay, you guys won the silver against Australia, but having the fastest split on the relay among those titans, those women, those huge swimmers, let's just say you retire now. You own that moment for the rest of your life. So sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Disagree with you.
I remember that relay specifically. That was fun because that was my first race of the meet. It's the first day, but I wasn't on the prelims one. So I remember walking out and I remember thinking in that moment, I'm about to swim in an Olympic final. I haven't even, this is my first race. I was like, whoa. And I always have been a relay lover. I love relays. I feel like I thrive on relays a lot just because I don't know why. I just love them. I love the energy and I love being behind the blocks with people on my team and that my friends and stuff. So I don't know. I do remember that race and that was a blast. That was really fun. But yeah, my individuals were definitely, like I said, not what I wanted, but I can't be mad at them.
No, you can't be. You performed. You really did perform. And here's the thing: what most people experience their first Olympics, and their second Olympics is the one where they hit it. But there's so much happening this year. So this is your moment. This is and everybody recognizes that, which is like, hey, you're armored up. You sign with Speedo and you're ready to go and you're performing well. But it's been the pandemic year, so I have to ask you, how have you shouldered this year, and is anything positive come out of it, or what have been the toughest times?
Yeah, for sure. I think this year for everyone, not just me, has been a lot of ups and downs. I think that everyone has handled it differently, but I think everyone's handled it really well. I think there was a lot of time where I was kind of lost in the fact that I didn't know what was happening. I mean, no one did, but like no one knew what was happening, and kind of didn't have pool time, kind of trying to find, like, didn't feel in shape. Every day that passed by, it was like, well, I'm getting farther and farther away from my goal. So there was a period of time where it was kind of like, I don't know what I'm training for right now. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm not an athlete. I don't know. There was a lot of time like that. And then once we got our pool time back and our schedule kind of took back to normal and things started happening, looking forward, we started to hear good news. I think it was harder to get back into it than I expected. I struggled there for a while, just not feeling like myself in the water. Getting back into weights. We had different weight coach. We've changed a lot of things. And so it was kind of like learning a new system and learning training again. Not that I had lost anything that I had just done completely, but it was just a new thing to learn, like teach my body again. And it was hard. It was a lot of struggling. I remember I went through a phase of coming home from practice, really upset a lot of days. And I remember having the pool is always somewhere where I would just be super happy and be with my friends. And even if it's not a good day of training for me, it would still be okay. And I was really stressed out every time I went to practice for a while. Every time I got on the pool deck, I was like, I'm going to drown today. I'm not going to go fast. This sucks. So it was a struggle, but, we're feeling better and we've kind of worked through it. And I think some of the good things that did happen through quarantine and this whole last year was that I found a different, I found things to enjoy in life other than swimming, and make sure that I had a life outside of swimming. Not that I didn't before, but it was more, I found it more admirable for myself to have a life outside of swimming. Something else to look forward to, something else to enjoy, which were many different things, but I found an outlet of how to, have my brain be happy in other ways besides swimming. So that was a huge positive for me. And I feel like other people too.
Well, you have to share it now. What are you doing outside of the pool? We expect you to be locked in a pool or doing dry land, because we know that you're dry land serious.
I love dry land. I love lifting. Lifting is my pride and joy. I don't think I would be fast without lifting. I have weights today at 1 and I can't wait because it's clean day and I want to get a max today. I don't know if I will, but I'm going to try. I love lifting.
What's your max?
For clean?
Yes.
I think it's okay, we have not done a lot of 1 rep maxes. I kind of do them on my own. And I would say, I think it was from 2019 or 8. I can't even remember when it was. It might have been 19. No, 18. It was 162 maybe. I don't know. It was right around my body weight. Actually, I don't know. Something around there. And I was trying to get my max in a while. I was trying to get 165 last week and I almost got it. I got under it and I just failed to come back up. So we're going to try again today, but, just little things like that. I think it's really fun to have goals outside of the water for me, just because I enjoy lifting. And so having a dry land goal is always fun. And it's not a specific time, so well in the pool. I know my weights really well, but if I don't hit it, I'm not I was heated because I didn't get it last week, but for maybe 30 minutes and then I got over it. Whereas if I don't hit something in practice, I'm so frustrated for a while, So it's a different goal that's not as much pressure, but still really fun.
Do me a favor. I have to
Yeah.
ask you. I have to ask you this. Yeah, I'm a fan. Although I worry about you. Um, your elbow concerns me, and you're talking about throwing some heavy weight.
My
So
elbow's fine.
you're fine. You're good. You're good. Well, I mean, if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah.
this, you're fine.
I practice my finishes a lot more now. Don't worry. My elbow at NCAA's, I just watched that video. I think Amy posted it yesterday. R2 free, or the 4 free relay and R2 free relay. And I was like, my arm, and I was like, oh my God, that was weird. And then I hit it again, not as bad at Pac-12s last year. So I didn't swim the last day because I was like, I'm just going to save it for NCs. Little did I know I should have swam last day. But yeah, I don't know. I have hyperextended elbows. Like you can see, like
I can see him in your Speedo sweatshirt. I can see how it's like Michael Phelps elbows.
I have hyperextended elbows. So when I went to go finish, I guess I just misjudged the wall completely both times, which is never happened to me. And just hit palm straight and went like that. And so luckily didn't break, or maybe a minute fracture. I don't know that whatever. Didn't break it, which I thought it was broken the first time. But yeah, my elbow's fine now. We're healed.
Big drama in swimming. Huge drama, man. People were going nuts. They're like, she's so strong.
I was just kicking for my life out there.
You know what? I find that if you lift heavy, you're less prone to injury or the tiny little things that you have to deal with when you're putting so much strain on your body. And it sounds like you're on that path and have been.
I find that lifting heavy makes me feel so much better in the water. I actually confirmed this in my head because for a while we went through phases of like I said, we changed weight coaches and we were doing higher rep, lower weight for a while, which I guess is fine, but I don't love. And I felt my nervous system felt so flat for the longest time which is also when I was struggling every day at practice. And then we started going lower weight, higher rep, and we're dropping in reps and going through this kind of cycle in the weights. And immediately, the first day we did lower weight, higher rep, or opposite, higher weight, lower rep. I dove into the water and I was like, I can sprint. We're good. I felt immediately better. And my old weight coach used to tell me this. He was like, you're such a nervous system kind of person. And so I don't know if it's true, but in my head, that's what makes me swim fast. So
yeah. It's so on the topic of training, just you're a pro. Is there a difference for you from the undergraduate training and now post-grad pro group? Can you unpack that for me?
Not completely. So Katie and I are the only two pro on the women's team, and we train with the women's team. And so we do everything that the college team does. We don't do really any special practices. Around this time of year, it's a little different because they're leaving for Pac-12s on Monday, and then they have NCAAs. So we'll obviously stay in our training cycle, but we don't have separate practices for them or for us or anything. We are obviously just staying on our normal training cycle with more volume compared to them right now. That's the only difference. But no, we don't do our own practices or anything.
Okay. No, the consistency is positive.
Yeah.
And, so I'm going to do confession time as a fan on the run up to the trials and the Olympic Games. It's I can't imagine being on this journey like you are. It's stressful. I feel like I'm pulling my hair out, and I can't pull much more hair out. But it's how have you managed that? Because I'm very optimistic. I think we're 99.999% having trials in the Olympics, but it's
you never know.
What's that been like for you?
It is stressful. I try not to get too caught up in it. I kind of just try and put my blinders on and continue as if it's all happening, because every other day there's an article. Olympics are not going to happen. This person says this person said it's canceled. This person said it's happening. So no one knows what's going on anyway. So I might as well just continue to train it's happening. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, we'll deal with that when we get there. But I think it's more so much has happened, and not that I don't like trust in myself and am going to do my absolute best, but there's like a lot of people that are like in contention for making the team. And I think it's stressful, not in a certain bad way, but I think like every time I struggle in practice, it starts processing like, oh my God, what if I go slow? Like, what if I, and I think that's part of like, I think everyone goes through that. And I need to learn how to be like, okay, you can't have an amazing practice every single day of your life. But that's like kind of the most stressful thing, that it's already like the end of February. It's like March. And I'm like, there's like 3 months till trials. Like what? I have like three full like solid more months of training. And then I got to start like tapering down. And so I'm like, every day I'm like, all right, I gotta like make sure this happens, because I feel like that's what makes me the most stressed, is how time is flying. Like I still think it's January and it's like March. So I don't know where the time's going, but that's the most stressful part for me.
I can tell you this: we're going to have almost everything that we've heard in the background in terms of our contacts with USA Swimming, with the International Olympic Committee, with the US OPC, has been that there's going to be an Olympics. So we know that there's going to be a trials. We know there's a backup plan. But so I just wanted to, I'm hoping that I could give you some confidence in saying that. But since you brought it up, what's an Abbey taper look like? Are you like 6 weeks out dropping down to like 4K, or, the week of, maybe you just jump in the hot tub? Is it, you're a sprinter. What's it like?
I wish the hot tub was involved in my taper. So I think taper is, if someone asked me what my taper looks like, I don't think I'd be able to answer, because it's kind of like what I've learned through the 4 years at Cal, and like what Terry is really, her method of taper is obviously dropping in intensity or dropping in volume as you go down, varying by person, but it's also like knowing yourself and knowing how you feel that day. And I think I swim pretty well in season most of the time if I have like a couple of days rest. I feel like I have a lot of muscle to rest. So as I get older too, not that I'm old, I'm still really young. I'm 24, but like in the swimming world, I'm getting a little bit older. Comparatively for a female swimmer, I don't know. Not that I'm old, but
I'm shaking my head no.
No. Okay. I like in my head. Okay.
Come on. Dara Torres was swam until middle age.
That's not even fair.
You have that talent.
And I know there are a lot of female swimmers who are still swimming who are way older than me. Like I get it. I'm making myself feel better. Anyways, I think I just vary by day, make sure I get a lot of aerobic. I still like to feel like I'm a little in shape and puffed every day, most days, and make sure I go down in volume, make sure that I stay on the sprinty practices. Like I love practicing power and sprint. And so make sure I keep teaching my body how to stay in that dive in and go aspect of it, but also throwing in 200 pace in there to make sure I have my aerobic base still up, gain some easy speed. That's kind of like the ideal method, varying per day how I feel. If I walk in and I feel like absolute poop in the water, I might just do backstroke that day and not hit on freestyle at all, because I don't like feeling bad on freestyle. And also I don't want to teach my body during taper how to like swim that way. So I love hitting on other strokes when I'm not feeling my freestyle, also just in general. And so, yeah.
Well, we got about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to wind this down. So I have to ask you two important questions. We know you bring the heat in the 4x1. You were our star leg on the relay in the 4x1 in 2016. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to beat the Australian stars. What's going to be the difference this time?
Every one of us who was on that relay going faster. That's what's going to be enough. It wasn't just one person. It's never just one person. It's not just two people. We all need to go faster. Whoever is on that 4x1, if I'm lucky enough to be on it, because I mean, who knows? Maybe I won't even be. You don't know. Like I can't act like I'm on it. Like I hope I am with all my heart. But I remember in 17, I struggled that year and I didn't make the 100 freestyle top 6 or top 4 at Worlds. And I wasn't on that relay, and I had been on it since 2014 and every year since, except for 17. And that was really hard to watch. Just not that I'm not happy for the teammates and trust them. Just like, I was like, oh, I love it. I love this relay. It was sad. But I hope I'm on it, and everyone who's on it, we just got to get everything we have and go faster and give it to them.
If I'm playing the Abbey Weitzeil prediction game, you're going to be on the relay. If I go and talk to the,
I hope so. I don't want to jinx it, but I hope so.
No, you are. It's you're on. Things are going well. This is it's really nice of you to drop in on a busy day and celebrate. Let us celebrate with you this big moment.
Thank you.
Something that's interesting is there's what I like about the culture of Speedo is that they're fully in alignment with the fact that something that's great about our sport. If you're a man, you're a woman, doesn't matter. You can achieve exactly the same thing. And there's this long history of great female, huge Speedo stars. Have you considered that? Have you thought about being in that family?
Oh yeah, Team Speedo is like so fast. It's so cool. There's so many fast people on Team Speedo, men and women, and we're all friends. We all know each other. I feel like everyone's genuinely happy for each other. And so I'm honored to be joining the team. I can't wait because I have my friends on the team, and like when we get to go do photo shoots together and hang out and just stuff like that, that'll be really fun. And the staff is awesome, and it's awesome to join like the legacy of female athletes on Team Speedo. There's just so many names that have been on this in the family, and so I'm really excited to have my name right there next to theirs.
I understand that you have hobbies outside of the pool, and you never let us. You didn't share those. You got to give up something. You got to give something to the audience.
Well, my dog is a huge hobby of mine. I do love my dog, but recently I started getting really addicted to flipping furniture. And it's so fun. I feel like I'm a very artsy kind of human. I love drawing and doing painting and stuff like that. And I've always had a love for like interior decorating and design, and been obsessed with like HGTV shows of flipping houses. And so like one of my dream jobs is to like flip houses and flip my own house one day, hopefully. That would be awesome and so much fun. And so I have all this extra time now that I don't have school. And so what I do is I just like find old furniture or like usable furniture that's free on like Craigslist or Marketplace. And I bring it home and I redo it and then I sell it because it's fun. And I've like made some quirky ones, and I've only made like 7 so far. I actually am in the middle of one, and I actually hate the way I did it, so we're gonna just cancel it. But I like love it. I love like searching. I'm always on like Marketplace, like scrolling for cool things. And I just come home in between practices. I work on it sometimes when I get home. As the days get brighter, longer, I can do more. It's when it gets dark at 6:30, I have to stop. But it's a huge hobby of mine, and I started an Instagram because a lot of people would respond to my stories and say like, I love this, like I live for these, please do more, like make an Instagram. So I was like, okay, I will. It's really fun, and it's just it's a simple, mindless, but also creative thing for me to do that I love doing.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.